Let me ask you something bold. If I handed you the blueprint billionaires secretly follow to not just build wealth, but protect and multiply it in silence, what would you do with it? Most people would glance at it, whisper, "Too hard," and toss it aside. But not you. You're here because deep down, you know there's a different way to play this game and win. Billionaires don't just make money, they engineer wealth. Behind every private jet, every real estate empire, every silent acquisition, are principles that the masses rarely understand. These aren't hacks. These are hidden money rules that function like laws of a different financial universe. And guess what? They're hiding in plain sight. Today, I'm giving you that playbook. Welcome to Wealth Maker Hubs, the channel where strategy meets ambition. If you're between 18 and 40, living in the US or UK, and you're tired of just surviving, it's time to start thriving. Let's dive into the 15 hidden money rules billionaires follow, and prepare to take notes. Rule 1. Control is more valuable than currency. Money is the effect. Control is the cause. Billionaires understand that true wealth doesn't come from earning more. It comes from owning more. Control gives them the power to dictate the flow of money, not chase after it. Elon Musk. Elon Musk didn't just start Tesla to sell cars. He made sure Tesla owned the entire value chain. From gigafactories to lithium supply chains, Tesla controls production, battery technology, software updates, and even its own retail network. Musk doesn't have to ask permission to innovate. He owns the system that executes innovation. Similarly, in SpaceX, Musk bypassed traditional aerospace contractors and built his own vertically integrated company, from rockets to satellites. Ask yourself, what part of my income do I actually control? If your salary depends on someone else's decision, you're vulnerable. Control equity. Control your systems. When you own the flow, you own the fortune. Rule 2. Leverage time, not labor. We all get the same 24 hours, but billionaires don't work harder, they work smarter. They amplify their efforts through systems, people, capital, and technology. Jeff Bezos. Bezos didn't build Amazon by working 100-hour weeks alone. He created a machine, automated logistics, AI-powered recommendations, a third-party seller marketplace. All of it runs whether he's sleeping, speaking, or strategizing. That's leverage. Oprah Winfrey. She doesn't interview every guest anymore. She owns the OWN network. Her influence earns while she rests. Don't focus on being busy. Focus on building something that works without you. Use software, outsourcing, automation, and investing to create leverage. Billionaires don't trade time for money. They multiply time for wealth. Rule 3. Your bank account is not a vault. It's a launchpad. Poor and middle-class individuals view money as something to save and store. Billionaires treat money as something to deploy. A bank account is not a destination, it's a temporary staging ground. Ray Dalio. Dalio doesn't keep his billions parked in checking accounts. He reallocates constantly to hedge funds, index strategies, real estate, gold, and global markets. His goal? Keep money working 24/7. Every dollar sitting idle is a dollar losing value due to inflation. Compare that to someone who's proud of having $100,000 in the bank, but earns 0.5% interest while inflation eats 5 and 9% per year. That's not safety, it's slow death. Don't worship cash. Use it, invest it, grow it. Money should flow through your hands into something productive. Assets that work harder than you do. Rule 4. Inflation is a predator. Outrun it or be devoured. Inflation is a silent thief. It erodes your purchasing power whether you notice or not. And during global crises, it spikes. If you're not growing your wealth faster than inflation, you're getting poorer by default. Sam Zell. Zell, known as the grave dancer for making money in downturns, built his empire by investing in real estate that adjusts rents with inflation. As inflation rose, so did his income. He wasn't scared of inflation. He anticipated it and used it as leverage. In 2022, $100 in the UK or $100 in the US could buy less than 90% of what it could the year before. Compound that over 5 years? That's devastating for savers who avoid investing. You can't fight inflation with savings. You fight it with assets, real estate, stocks, businesses. Billionaires stay ahead of the curve. You must too. Rule 5. Master emotional discipline or be destroyed by it. Emotions intensify. Panic is expensive. Billionaires train themselves to think long-term, detach from emotional volatility, and stay strategic in chaos. Warren Buffett. Buffett isn't the best investor because he knows the most. He's the best because he can remain calm during a storm. When markets crash, others sell. Buffett? He buys. He calls it buying fear at a discount. And during the 2008 crisis, he invested billions in Goldman Sachs and GE when everyone else was paralyzed. Those investments paid off massively. Most people sell during market dips and buy during bubbles. Emotions drive them. But billionaires move opposite the herd. They follow principles, not feelings. Control your emotions or your emotions will control your wallet. Develop a system. Set rules. Use logic, not adrenaline. Rule 6. Build invisible income streams. Sleep rich, not just work rich. Billionaires build income that flows without requiring their constant effort. This isn't about a side hustle or overtime. It's about passive systems, royalties, dividends, interest, and ownership stakes that generate cash while they sleep, travel, or innovate. Rihanna's net worth skyrocketed not from her music alone, but from her equity in Fenty Beauty. She earns passively every time someone buys a foundation or lipstick. That's the power of productized income, the ability to multiply money without trading hours. Bill Gates makes more today from Microsoft dividends than from working at the company. He built a machine that pays him even when he's doing philanthropy. You can't achieve freedom if your income dies when you rest. Create at least one stream of income that works independently. Stocks, royalties, real estate, automated businesses. Let your money perform while you pause. Rule 7. Invest in access, not just assets. Assets are important, but access to people, rooms, and networks often creates the biggest financial breakthroughs. Billionaires consistently pay to sit at the right tables because proximity to power compresses time and multiplies opportunity. Richard Branson. Branson spent decades nurturing relationships across industries, from Nelson Mandela to Elon Musk. His access to brilliant minds allowed him to launch Virgin Galactic, Virgin Mobile, and more. Many of those ventures came from conversations, not capital. Peter Thiel invested $500,000 in Facebook early, not because he saw a pitch deck, but because he had access to Mark Zuckerberg in the right circle at the right moment. Pay to be in rooms where smarter people gather. Invest in mentorships, masterminds, or elite communities. Every billionaire knows this. It's not just what you know or have, it's who you know and what they invite you into. Rule 8. Obsess over return on risk, ROR, not just ROI. Most people chase returns. Billionaires chase risk-adjusted returns. They don't just ask, how much can I make? They ask, what's the smartest return I can get for the least risk possible? Mark Cuban. Cuban constantly emphasizes this. The best investment is paying off your credit cards. Why? Because a guaranteed return of 20% by eliminating high-interest debt is risk-free and immediate. Warren Buffett passed on tech stocks for years, not because he couldn't make money, but because he didn't understand the risk. Only when he understood Apple deeply did he pour in billions. And now, Apple is one of Berkshire Hathaway's biggest holdings. Billionaires don't gamble. They analyze. Always ask, what's the downside? Don't fall for hype. Fall for logic, protection, and asymmetry, where the upside outweighs the risk. Rule 9. Buy time with money, not money with time. The average person trades time for money. Billionaires use money to buy back their time. Time is their most precious non-renewable resource, and they fiercely protect it. Naval Ravikant Naval once said, set a high hourly rate, then outsource everything below it. This includes laundry, emails, errands. Why? Because he understands that time spent is value leaked. Look at how CEOs like Jeff Bezos use personal assistants, drivers, and entire teams. It's not about luxury, it's about leverage. Every moment they regain is reallocated to high-impact decisions. If you're stuck in low-level tasks, you can't move like the wealthy. Delegate. Automate. Outsource. Stop hoarding pennies and start investing in your hours, the most elite currency you have. Rule 10. Think 10x, act 1%. Daily. Billionaires are not dreamers without discipline. They think big, 10x, 100x visions, but act small and consistently. They build momentum daily and let it compound. Sarah Blakely. Before Spanx became a billion-dollar company, Blakely wrote down a massive vision: create a global brand for women's confidence. But she acted daily, calling manufacturers, writing patents, selling door to door. Tiny steps, massive dream. Elon Musk envisions colonizing Mars, but he started with launching a small rocket in a warehouse with less than 10 employees. Today, SpaceX is revolutionizing aerospace. It began with a tiny test launch. Dream massive. Act methodically. Don't try to conquer the financial world in a week. Build habits that multiply. Billionaires are master visionaries, but also master implementers. Rule 11. Pay yourself first, then scale that habit. This isn't about paying your bills and keeping the leftovers. Billionaires do the opposite. They invest in themselves first, in knowledge, assets, and freedom, before spending a dime elsewhere. It's not selfish. It's strategic self-capitalization. George Soros. Early in his career, Soros didn't just save money. He allocated chunks of his income into compounding investments and personal development. The more he earned, the more he kept and grew. Today, he's one of the most successful investors in history. Even when Tony Robbins was broke, he put a percentage of every dollar he earned into growth. Books, seminars, mentorship. That discipline scaled as he earned more, turning him into a global business empire. Don't wait to get rich before saving or investing. Start small. Automate it. And when your income grows, let your habits scale with it. You can't build wealth on leftovers. Rule 12. Learn the tax code better than the market. Billionaires don't evade taxes, they master the game of taxes. They treat the tax code like a strategy guide and use legal structures to keep more of what they earn. Donald Trump, controversial but true. Trump famously uses the tax code to his advantage. He leverages real estate depreciation, 1031 exchanges, business write-offs, and more to drastically reduce tax burdens. He may earn billions, but often pays less in taxes than the average middle-class worker. Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Kiyosaki preaches tax-smart investing. He uses corporate structures, LLCs, and asset shielding to protect his wealth. He's not anti-tax, he's pro-intelligence. Taxes are often your biggest lifetime expense. If you're not learning how to legally reduce them, you're giving away freedom. Understand how the wealthy play the tax game and get a good accountant. Rule 13. Own equity, not just effort. Billionaires don't stay rich on salaries. They get rich through ownership. Whether it's shares, real estate, IP, or private equity, they prioritize assets that appreciate over hours that deplete. Steve Jobs. Jobs took just $1 in salary during his return to Apple. Why? Because he owned millions of shares. When Apple's value grew, so did his wealth, exponentially. He didn't need a paycheck. He owned the machine. Kylie Jenner. She didn't get rich from Instagram posts. She owned 100% of Kylie Cosmetics, which she later sold a major stake in for hundreds of millions. That's not influencer cash. That's equity thinking. Even if you're employed, ask, how can I earn ownership? Can you get shares, launch a side business, buy rental property, or license something? Salary builds security, equity builds freedom. Rule 14. Money is a reflection. Upgrade the mind, upgrade the balance. The size of your bank account will never exceed the size of your mindset. Billionaires know that wealth is first built internally, through belief, discipline, clarity, and vision, before it's built externally. Jim Carrey. Before Carrey became famous, he wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered. He visualized it every day. Years later, he got paid exactly $10 million for Dumb and Dumber. Coincidence? or a mind trained for abundance? Arnold Schwarzenegger. From a poor boy in Austria to a real estate tycoon, movie star, and governor, Arnold's mind was wired for bigness. He didn't let his background limit his vision. Wealth is psychological before it's practical. Invest in belief, discipline, visualization, and high-level thinking. Your income will never rise higher than your identity allows. Rule 15. Wealth is a long game. Think decades, not days. The final rule is perhaps the most crucial. Billionaires don't chase fast money. They play the long game. They think in decades, not quarters, in generations, not paychecks. Jeff Bezos. Bezos operated Amazon at a loss for years, reinvesting every dollar back into growth. Wall Street criticized him. But Bezos wasn't building a store. He was building an empire. Today, Amazon dominates global commerce. The Rothschild family. The Rothschilds built intergenerational wealth through banking and investing across centuries. They didn't build wealth for lifestyle. They built it for legacy. If you're trying to get rich quick, you'll often get poor quicker. Build wealth for the long run. Let compounding work its magic. Think of your wealth like a tree, not a firework. Let me ask you something. Which of these 15 rules hit you the hardest? Which one exposed a blind spot? Which one lit a fire inside you? Because here's the truth. You don't have to be born into billions to start thinking like a billionaire. You just need to shift how you play the game. At Wealthmaker Hubs, we don't just talk money. We transform mindsets. Every week, we drop hard-hitting insights, proven strategies, and timeless wisdom to help you earn smarter, grow faster, and live freer. So if you're ready to break financial limits, if you're tired of being average in a system built for leverage, then hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications and join a community of thinkers, builders, and future billionaires. Because the next video, it might just be the one that changes everything.